Gilmore Girls and the spring break episode. How did we film it? Where did we film it? Were we actually in Florida, or was there something else going on? And what was it like working with Madeline and Louise for the very last time? I'm Valerie. I was the key set costumer on Gilmore Girls, and I share a lot of fun facts from behind the scenes, which are literally only possible when you engage with this video as it's hitting your FYP. Please make sure to follow me here and over on YouTube to catch the ones that don't. Now, while I'm sharing with you how we filmed this episode, let me know, what do you look like when you go to the beach? Are you a Madeline, a Louise, Paris, or a Janet, Glenn? Or are you that volleyball guy? The photo behind me is from the very first day that we filmed at the beach, right at sunset, in the area that we are going to be filming the next night. Now, this is Brad Lipson, who was our gaffer. He is the one responsible for lighting, and he was testing out what the lighting was going to look like at magic hour. Magic hour is that special time right as the sun starts to set. We filmed at the Sea Sprite over the course of 3 separate days. But those days were not just regular days where we started as early as possible. No, we did something a little bit different. This first day also happened to be on a Tuesday, which is kind of important. Normally, on a typical episode of Gilmore Girls, we shoot over the course of 8 shooting days. This particular week was especially brutal. Monday's call started with a split, and we finished filming at 3 a.m. Split the schedule so that we were filming there during an equal part of the daytime and equal part of the nighttime. The very first scene we filmed at the Sea Sprite was poolside, and it was a difficult scene to film. Since this was a practical location and not a film set, we couldn't move walls or move anything out of the way. We had to work around the geography of the location. There was a lot of stairs, different levels, and a pool. The high for February 10th in Hermosa Beach was 68 degrees, and at the time we were filming this, it was probably more like 62. Definitely not a warm 100-degree day that Florida would have been known for. After the sunset, we filmed the arrival at the Sea Sprite Motel with everyone checking into their rooms. And by the time we wrapped that night, the temperatures dropped to about 40 degrees and everyone was wearing shorts and they were all freezing. The next day on February 11th, we started to film the beach scenes. Because we had gone so late the day before, we didn't start filming these scenes until around 2:30 p.m. Temperatures were the mid to upper 60s. Definitely not a day that you want to take off your coat. This is the sunset for that night as we were waiting for it to get dark to film the nighttime beach scene. Yeah, that scene. And my job that night was to catch a very cold, wet Ethan, aka Glenn, out of the ocean as he was running my direction. We're going to talk a little bit about how we shoot scenes like this. And is that tattoo real? No. At the time of filming this scene, the temperatures were 55 degrees, and this poor boy was coming straight out of the ocean. It was cold, and it was my job that night to keep him as warm as possible. We had set up a cabana that was actually on the beach. It was like a little pop-up that you would change your clothes. It had a heater in it so that we could warm him up between shots. Ethan was a trooper that night. The next day was a full-blown night, and this was the sunset we enjoyed for our final day at the Sea Sprite Motel. The very first scene we shot that day, or rather night, was the scene where the girls were drinking poolside. At the time, the temperature was a balmy 55 degrees. But we still had another scene to shoot. Later that night, early the next morning, February 13th, at 2 o'clock in the morning, it was 47 degrees when we filmed the exteriors of the Sea Sprite Motel as the girls are going in and out of their motel room. Now, fun fact about this motel. Production rented rooms for the girls. We got them dressed. Makeup and hair was done in those rooms. And they also spent the night in so they wouldn't have to drive back to wherever they lived. They didn't do that for the crew. I had to drive home each day. And the other fun fact is the interior of the hotel room was not filmed inside this hotel room. Art department built those rooms on stage, and also a portion of the exterior. 6 days later, we filmed the interiors at Warner Brothers in the area that would later become the pool house. What was it like filming with Madeline and Louise during their final episode? It was special. It was special seeing them both again. Shelley, who played Madeline, is such a sweetheart. And Teal, we saw her grow up on the show. She was so much younger than the rest of the cast. And they both were just a lot of fun. And it was nice seeing them again. And it's sad that they weren't in A Year in the Life. I think I can lend a little insight into it. Shelley had shared at one of the fan fests that they actually had reached out to her to be in A Year in the Life, but unfortunately they couldn't get Teal on board. Teal has left the industry, and I guess they felt without Louise, there is no Madeline and Louise. Let me know what you think. Do you think they should have brought Madeline back without Louise? Or perhaps done the same thing they did with Tristan and had a body double?